Hello, good evening, and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation podcast live with me, your host, Owen David. Guys, it's a pleasure to be here speaking to you tonight on the channel. I've had to completely rework tonight's podcast. This is not what was intended tonight. Tonight, we were intending to have Kia and Lorah on with me, but we've had a bit of a nightmare. We have had a bit of a nightmare. So, first of all, Kia has had a bit of a personal tragedy in terms of a friend of his. So unfortunately, he can't be with us, which is understandable. Obviously, a difficult time. So Kia, thoughts with you and your family and your friends at this time. And Lorah was supposed to be on as well, but unfortunately, Lorah managed to lose her phone. So has no phone, so has no way of taking part in the podcast, and apparently is still looking at there we go. CGNI says, what's a TikTok going to do without a phone? Lol. Exactly, buddy. I'm sure she's trying to sort one out. That's what she contacted me earlier tonight via a friend's and said she's trying to sort something out ASAP. So there we go, guys. It's just me and you tonight, unfortunately. Which is great because I get to hear more from you guys. But there we go. So CJ and I says evening to CJ, evening to Stuart, evening to Carlo, evening to Son as well. Well, it has been a pretty crazy week, hasn't it, in the world of Glasgow Rangers? It has been a mental week in Rangers. But when is it not? When is it not a crazy week? When can we have a normal week? When can we have a normal week with no drama, with no injuries, with no operations, with Fair know how to go on landscape mode, lol. Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's just been a mental week. It started on Sunday with that absolutely bonkers, mental, crazy, hugely just weird Old Firm game, which got a record 44 million viewers, guys. I mean, that's mad. 44 million people took time out of their Sundays to watch the Old Firm game on Sky TV. Now, if you consider that a pay TV channel, you've got to pay to subscribe to that channel. It's not like it's free. And 44 million people watch. That is pretty mad. And Philippe Clement even remarked on that in his press, and we'll talk a little bit today, obviously, in the pod about what Philippe has had to say about the whole Dundee controversy and the whole Sky Sports thing and everything else. And, it's just crazy. It's gone that way. And then, obviously, we were building up towards the game at Dens Park on Wednesday. And once again, global warming gets in the way. Well, it does, apparently, if you listen to Dundee's secretary. I mean, the guy is an absolute tool. I mean, to seriously stand there and try and blame it all on global warming is just crazy. So was global warming the issue the 4 times before as well? Was Dundee's pitch the fact that it can't drain down to global warming? Maybe the polar bears and the ice caps and some, I don't know, the absolute load of bollocks from all evening. Andy, how you doing? Just absolute load of rubbish from Dundee, of course, as per usual. I mean, their pitch is not in a fit state to play. Dens Park is not in a fit state. Dens Park is not in a fit state to play in my local park league down here in the Midlands of England, let alone in a top flight. So there we go. It's been one of those weeks, guys. And we build up now towards Ross County on Sunday. We will be bringing you the game here live on the channel. Live stream here again. Get yourselves in the live chat. Get your comments in. Get your opinions in. Get your views in. Let us know what you've been thinking. But look, we've got some dilemmas to discuss as well tonight. Who starts? Diamande is having his thumb operation. I mean, I've heard it all now. You know what? That can only happen to a Rangers player, can't it? I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone else in my entire life having a thumb operation that keeps him out of a game. I mean, it can seriously only happen to us. I mean, if you were writing a comedy script, I mean, you wouldn't even think of something like that. You genuinely wouldn't. But Rangers have a thumb injury. I mean, genuinely, guys, what the actual what about that? A thumb injury. Also, a little bit of other discussion tonight, as well. What's the best? How do we line up Sunday? What's the best lineup for Sunday? How do we put together a team that's going to go out there and really impress against Ross County? And is it just mainly about result rather than performance, guys? What is it on Sunday? Look, there's a lot of things to talk about. There's a few things to get through, and we've got some opinions to get from you guys as well. Well, you know what? I need to get your views. I need to get your opinions. I need to find out what you all think, guys. So please, obviously, drop me a comment in the live chat. And obviously, if you want to support the channel, smash that like, subscribe to the channel, And if you want to, you can also use the super chat and the super sticker button to donate to the channel too. Well, let's talk. Let's talk all things to do with Philippe's press conference today. Now, Philippe spoke to the media today, as is the fashion, for a weekend game. Even when it's on a Sunday, he still speaks on a Friday to the media. Obviously, the lead off again was emergency ward 10, Rangers ER. Let's get it done. Let's get Rangers let's get talking about the fact that, you know, we have players injured, of course. So it looks like it's largely the same squad minus Diomande that were available against Celtic. No one else added to the squad. I mean, looking at what was said during the week, Danilo and Danilo and Cortez are done for the season, possibly the last week of the season, but realistically, you know, it ain't going to happen, guys. It really genuinely isn't going to happen. We're not going to have we're not going to get to see either of them before the end of the season. So look, Danilo's out to the last week of the season. You know, that's it. So we're down to the bare bones. We're down to what we've got. That's what we play with. Whatever. So the only player obviously that is out is the man himself, obviously Mohamed Diomande, with his thumb injury, which, you know, that's what it is, guys. It is a thumb injury, and like, at least it's only a short-term thing. Hopefully it won't affect him too much. Hopefully it's not going to affect his fitness too much, because he can still train. Hopefully it's just a case of, you know, affecting his, you know, short-term availability, and then he'll be back for the next game, hopefully for the semi-final. Obviously, I wouldn't risk him against Dundee if that game takes place, or when that game takes place, or where that game takes place, wherever that may be. You know, what was interesting as well in the Philippe Clement press conference today was the fact that he stated that the team was ready to play today. It even offered an opportunity to play on Thursday, I think it was, as a backup. You know, the club were ready to actually play, but you know, it just seems that was turned down as an option as well. So it seems to me that Rangers are doing everything in their power to actually get this game played, but it seems that the SPFL and Dundee are unwilling and intransigent and just will not move on it. It just seems utterly crazy that we're facing this situation in a top flight league, doesn't it? Absolutely crazy. You know, Philippe Clement said, of course, as well, he says, who is going to guarantee that it won't rain next week? Also, we want to just play the game. We have a very busy schedule and prepare all the training. Preparation days in advance. The guys will have 2 days off this month. Now I have to remove one. So one of the days off that they were going to get this month has now been lost because of that moving the fixture. So obviously, you know, very unfair on the boys. And Philippe Clement went on to say, you know, this is a bad image of Scottish football. It needs to be avoided. It's important now to make the right decision so this doesn't happen anymore. He says the last information that we will hear on Tuesday 12 before we travel, what is going to happen. So it appears that, you know, no matter what the decision is, that it's going to be left till Tuesday lunchtime, which does, as I said on the video earlier, beg the question, you know, how does that help fans? How does that help fans to get to the game, you know? And you know, if it is moved at the 11th hour to another ground, you know, what do fans do? You know, do they turn up with the same tickets? What if the ground they select has less capacity than Dens Park, which, you know, will be hard to find? Well, I think a lot of grounds have, you know, especially the smaller teams in Scotland have very small grounds. So, you know, what's the answer there? Crazy times, crazy times. Ewan Minton says, hi there, and the troops, greetings from the middle of the North Sea. Ewan's out in the middle of the North Sea. Hey, Ewan, how's it in the middle of the North Sea, buddy? You know, I am really just sitting here tonight, and I am just thinking, what the hell? What the hell is going on with Scottish football and the whole Dundee situation? For me, and I don't know about what you think, but something needs to be done, and something needs to be done to, like Philippe Clement says, to prevent this from happening again. It cannot be allowed to happen again. It just cannot. Just genuinely cannot, because it makes our football look silly. And we really did ourselves a favour on Sunday. I'm not talking about Rangers, but Scottish football did itself a favour on Sunday. That Old Firm game was entertaining. It was end-to-end. It was a 3-3. It was dramatic. It had some goals in it from Rangers. It had some quality play. It had some controversy. It had everything in it. It had drama. It had everything. It was a hell of a good advert for the SPL. And then Dundee allow this to happen on Wednesday, and it all falls apart and looks ridiculous. And the league just looks silly again, thanks to some amateurish, negligent, as Rangers put it, behaviour from Dundee. Just crazy times, and something does need to be done. Philippe Clement says it's important now to make a good decision for next week so everyone can prepare in a good way. It'll be drier out there than Dundee. I think that's Son talking about the North Sea. Funny, Son. And then we've got a comment here from it's not loading at the moment. I don't know why. From CJ says, "Come on, CJ. The fact that this comment will not load. I don't know why it's not loading. It's been silly." CJ says, "Here we go. You can't blame Dundee's pitch. Damn global warming." Global warming. It's getting a bit bounced. Kind of rocks you to sleep, buddy. Yeah, mate, I'd be throwing up everywhere. And if that was me. In the middle of the sea, I can't stand boats. Boats just make me feel ill. I once got seasick on a swan pedalo going around a lake. I mean, that's how bad I am with boats. But as for the Ross County game on Sunday, realistically, this is a game where Rangers need to kind of go out there and, hey, RFC56, how you doing, buddy? Obviously, please smash the like, guys. Please smash the like. So, look, we look at it on Sunday, and Ross County are not a good team. They genuinely are not a good team. They are a poor side. But Philippe Clement talked today in his presser about it. He says we have to have respect for every opponent. Ross County played a good game at Ibrox. We are focused on this now and getting the 3 points. We have changed the plans, but this is no excuse for the game on Sunday. We have to adapt to win games. Our mindset is whatever decisions are made, we go to win games. No excuses. We will play anywhere to get 3 points. It doesn't matter where. Philippe Clement has a very much a laser-like focus, doesn't he, on the whole idea of winning, of playing the very best, of having the correct mindset, of doing everything spot on. That, for me, is why he is a top manager. I mean, let's have a little look, shall we, at Ross County and their recent fixtures and look at how, obviously, that would affect us and, what they're doing. Let's have a look at those now. I'm going to share a screen with you just to show you the latest and everything. Okay, so let's have a look, shall we? So here are their recent games. So their form going into this game is not clever. We look at this. Here we go. So their form going into this game is not clever at all. So their last game was a 1-0 defeat at Rugby Park, which, it's pretty much to be expected. Let's face it. Rugby Park is not a place, unless you're Rangers, that you go and you get a result. Previous to that, they lost 2-1 at Pittodrie. They did beat Hearts at home 2-1 on the 16th of March. 2-2 draw with Hibs at home. 2-0 away defeat to Hibs. 1-1 with St Mirren. 3-2 at home to Livy. 2-0 away defeat to Dundee. My God, a game actually went underway at Dens Park, 17th of February. Guys, mark it in your diaries. A 3-1 defeat, obviously, the last time we met at Ibrox. We'll have a look at that in a minute. But their home form is not too bad at all, actually, looking into this game. They haven't lost at home since, when was the last time they lost at home? There you go. St Johnstone. That sort of lets themselves down, doesn't it, a little bit? So, look, they aren't a great team. Let's get that straight. But their home form is pretty decent coming out of this. It really genuinely is. So, respect them for that. And they'll make this tough. They'll put a low block in place. They'll make it as hard as possible for us to play. They'll make it as difficult as possible for us to play. That's who they are. That's how they'll play. That's Ross County for you. I mean, they sit 11th in the league, 27 points. They are second off bottom. I suppose they're kind of chasing down St Johnstone, trying to get ahead of St Johnstone. That's kind of their only target, isn't it? So look, that's where we're at with that one, and it won't be easy. I mean, I know it should be. I know we are Rangers. We should go anywhere, win anything, beat anybody, smash it up, and win. Of course we should, but Ross County will make it as difficult as possible for us to actually play. Blue Horizon says, play on the moon. It's closer than Mars. See, Scotland have lost automatic Champions League spot, says David Beattie. Yes, to the Czech Republic, not for this season, not for the next season, sorry, for the season after. So whoever wins the Scottish League this season will still get into the Champions League automatically. That's why we need to win it this season. But the season after, you will have to qualify. Their pitch isn't a problem. It's their shit drainage system, says Blue Horizon. Yeah, their drainage system is shit. It is awful. Kenneth Elliott is predicting a 3-1 to the Mighty Jers. Mez Smith, that's Cyril Dess's agent, I think. I'm sure Ibrox is. I'm sure Ibrox is what, buddy? But look, it's a tough game. It's a game where we're going to get 3 points. We've got to get 3 points. And look, I think going into the split now, ahead of what's going to be a very busy week now, with the fact that game against Dundee is now on the 17th. It's going to be a really busy week for Rangers. Wednesday will be Ross County away. Then we travel to Dundee, possibly, or maybe somewhere else. And then obviously it's the League Cup the Scottish FA Cup semi-final on the 21st. So 3 games in a week, again, intensive. You've got to kind of question, when's Philippe Clement going to get time to work with the players on the training paddock as well? It really is just going to be, difficult. Because you've got, obviously, Monday will be a recovery day. Tuesday will be a kind of short session and travel day. Wednesday is going to be the game day, hopefully. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They've then got 3 days to recover and prep before the semi-final on the Sunday. So it's going to be an intensive period for the boys. And like Philippe Clement said, he's had to, reduce by 1 of the number of days off that he's going to give the boys this month. And, I suppose, they're professional footballers at the end of the day. They've just got to cope with that. When does the split crap start? Is it after this weekend? Well, it will be after the Dundee game on the 17th, won't it? Now, it was meant to be that this weekend, Blue Horizon was the cut-off, but obviously that didn't happen. I'm sure Ibrox is raised in the centre for runoff or drainage as well. And Ibrox is one of the finest pitches in Europe, isn't it? You've just got to look at the quality of that pitch and look at how great that pitch actually is. Really, really good. The bow shape of the pitch, Ibrox, is a massive one, says Blue Horizon. Our pitch is just absolutely perfect, isn't it? It is absolutely perfect for football. Like a Canberra Road. Yeah, absolutely, says Mez Smith. Yeah, I mean, it is really genuinely the perfect pitch, isn't it? The perfect pitch for for playing football. It really genuinely is. Look, guys, it's all about, I think for me, we've got to kind of think about now who starts on Sunday. What is the best possible lineup that we go with on Sunday? How do we get the best possible 11 players out there? Where do we go with this? What do we do? Now, for me, obviously, Jack Butland is in goal. That's a given. You've got to go with Butland in goal. Back 4. Now, I think there's a big question on the back 4 ahead of Sunday. Genuinely is a massive question on the back 4 ahead of Sunday. Ridvan, I don't think will be fit, judging by what has been said. So look, we're probably going to be without Ridvan. So, do you start with Barisic or do you go with Sterling? Now, has the situation now been really clouded and kind of muddied a little bit by the fact that Diamande is out? So do you need Sterling in midfield? So where do you go with that? Now, for me, the first selection dilemma, okay, you go, I think, obviously with Butland, Tav, that's a given. I know Tav wasn't great in the Old Firm, but, I think he improved second half. He had balls of steel to take that penalty. So at the end of the day, you've got to go with Tav at right back. Because now, centre-back pairing, where do we go with that? Because Connor Goldson shat the bed against Celtic. He really did. And it's not just the Celtic game where Goldson's been poor this season. He has been very, very poor all season. I mean, he really genuinely has. Since winter break especially. And, he's conceded the same goal 4 times. He seems to have lost a yard of pace. He just isn't doing what he used to in terms of communication and organisation. He's not really doing that either. He seems to have lost all confidence and lost everything. So, I think Blue Horizon's right. You go with Suter and Balogun. I think, John Suter is a right-sided centre-back after all, so we give him the right-sided centre-back berth because he's the best option for it. And we move Leon Balogun in alongside him. Now, John Suter and Leon Balogun played together against Hibs. Was one of the games they did play together. They did look really good. They did play some, they were solid as a rock at the back. So I would seriously take Goldson out of the firing line. I'd give him a rest. I'd take him out of the firing line and I'd stick Suter and Balogun in there. Left back, I mean, I think we go with Sterling still at left back because, he played very well against Celtic. He was one of the top players on that pitch. Even in the first half when the rest of the team were absolute garbage, he was one of the few players that really did, actually cover himself in a bit of glory and did actually play well. So yeah, you go with Sterling at left back. Now, that of course sort of presents the question: who goes into the double pivot? So you've got Lunny there. Lunny's going to play. Lunny wasn't great against Celtic again, went missing, which of course then opens the whole question over: do you give Lundstrom a new contract? He's gone missing against Celtic again. Wasn't great, but then again, there was lots of players that weren't great on Sunday. I mean, that's a debate for another time, really. So who goes in alongside Lunny? So for me, there are three options here. There are three clear options to play in that double pivot role on Sunday. Three players who I think can come in and fill that role and won't weaken the team any. So look, let's have a look. So my three options are Tom Lawrence, Kieran Dowell, Nicholas Raskin. So who do we take out of those three? Now, Tom Lawrence has played there before this season. He's not his natural position. I know he's more a 10 or even a winger. He can play out wide, but he has played in that double pivot role before. I can't remember the game he did it in, but he did very well indeed. So I think that could be, that's one possibility. Now, Kieran Dowell is another possibility for me. Kieran Dowell came on Sunday, looked decent, played well. He gave the team forward impetus. He has played in that role before. He has done a good job in that role alongside Lunny before he got injured. So again, Dowell is another possibility. Now, the other one that has been mentioned is Nicholas Raskin. Obviously, Raskin is now back and available for the squad, but lacks match sharpness. How do you get match sharpness? You play football. So is it that Nicholas Raskin slides in there alongside John Lundstrom? So I think it's one of those three for me, that one of those three come in and one of those three start on Sunday, because I think, with obviously Diomande, I think Diomande is now the first choice. Diomande is the primary choice. I like Diomande. He provides a lot. I think I think he really does. Blue Horizon says a midfield of Lunny, Cantwell and Lawrence. Lawrence looks good a bit deeper. I mean, like he did Son, didn't he? In the game, I can't remember who it was. It was against Aberdeen. He did play very well deeper, I think it was. Blue Horizon wants Matondo, Silva and Seema. Nicholas Stubborn says Raskin, not a big fan. Seema on the right wing with Silva as striker, says Blue Horizon. So that for me, you've got to go with some combination of that. Now, behind the striker, how would you go behind the striker? Behind that main striker. For me, there is only really one option to how you line up, and that is like that. For me, behind the striker, you go with your strongest team. You go with your strongest players. Look, Abdallah Seema came on. You might not get 90 minutes out of Seema. We've mentioned that. Clement's mentioned that. But for me, when he came on, Abdallah Seema looked quality. He looked quality. He made a huge difference to this team. He really did. I mean, the first half, Scott Wright was awful. I didn't even. I actually forgot Scott Wright was even on the pitch. I genuinely did think Scott Wright was. I forgot he was there. But when Seema came on in the second half and played, the first time I've seen him play on the right, I think this season, he was direct. He got after Taylor. He caused him all sorts of problems. He ran at him. He went round him. He was physical. He was big. He was strong. So for me, Seema is the obvious option there. On that right-hand side. Cantwell goes into the 10 role. RFC 56 says he wouldn't play Lawrence as a 10. I wouldn't either. I thought Lawrence was really poor on Sunday. I thought he was absolutely dreadful on Sunday. And I thought we looked a lot better when Cantwell came on. He gave us a bit more energy, a bit more. He's got a little bit of the devil in him. He's got a little bit of a spark. He leads a high press. He's creative. He's just got that ability to drift past people, to make space. For me, Cantwell has to start in the 10 role. Stuart says Silva needs to stop diving about and get on with the game. Agreed, absolutely. Blue Horizon says Cantwell as the 10. Let's play with 12, lol. Funny. But yeah, for me, Cantwell's got to play a 10. I would seriously play Matondo on the left. Now, Matondo, a couple of games already, 2 great goals, cutting in on his right foot. I think you've got to put. I think you've really genuinely got to put him in on the left side. I can't see any alternative to that. McCausland, I know, can play left. You could play with Seema right, Seema left, McCausland right. But for me, Matondo's earned his right to start. He's earned a place in this team. So I'm going to go with Matondo on that left-hand side, and I think he will make a big difference. And look, the one thing we that we all know is that one thing that terrifies defenders is pace. Absolutely terrifies it is pace. So that's why I would go with him. Now, who do you start up top? That's the question. Obviously, Kemar Roof has disappeared. I don't know where he is. I've had a look in the cupboard. Can't find him. I don't know where he is. Son says, we'll need one of those buzzing dog collars to sort out Silver. Lol. That's funny, buddy. That is funny. Stuart would start Matondo. I think you've got to start Matondo. I know that some people don't like Matondo. And I know, like my co-host, Lorah, she doesn't particularly like Matondo. But I just think that, personally speaking, that Seema right, Canros middle, Matondo on the left is the best option. It gives us attacking options. It gives us pace and power out wide. And I think, given the fact that you're going to have that low block, that they're going to compress mid and low block, they're going to stuff the middle of the field up, they're going to condense on the edge of the area, going around the outside, getting players who can get in around the edges and can come inside. I mean, Matondo can either go outside or he can come inside on his foot. Seema can go outside or he can come inside. I think just gives you a few more options to really overcome them on Sunday. And I think that is the best option for me. That's why I'm going with Seema Matondo. Who do you start up top? That's the question. Now, Fabio Silva is an enigma because he's a good player. He is a good player. Technically, he's a technically good player. Does he suit Scottish football? Maybe not. Does he suit Rangers? Possibly not. Does he need to stop the histrionics? Absolutely, he does. Because you're going to give a dog a bad name, and it's going to stick. And I think it has with Fabio Silva, and it will stick with Fabio Silva. Was it a penalty? Of course, it was a penalty. Absolutely, of course, it was a penalty. Any Celtic fan that says it isn't a penalty is just letting his bias rule over common sense. But look, at the end of the day, for me, I look at what Clement is probably going to do, and I think he'll start Dessers up top. Whether we like it or not, it's realistically all we've got from now on to the end of the season. Is Cyril Dessers good enough for Rangers? No, of course he isn't. Of course he isn't. Is he a good striker? No, he's not a good striker. He's an average striker. That's what he is. Does he score a worldie? Yes. Does he miss easy ones? Yes. So for me, he will go with Dessers. I just think he will. So I really do genuinely think he will go with Dessers. Blue Horizon's got his team in the live chat. He says Butland, Tav, Suter, Balogun, Sterling, Lawrence, Cantwell, Lunny, Matondo, Silva, and Seema. It's a very attacking lineup from Blue Horizon. That's a nice team. Got to start Matondo. His confidence will be sky high after that goal, and he's definitely a player that needs confidence. Stu, I agree with you. He is a confidence player. That's why I would start with Seema, with Matondo. 100% Stuart, and Mez says you've got to play Matondo. I agree on that one 100%. Right, guys, so what would my exact team be? Let's get my exact team up and share my exact team with you. I mean, obviously, we'll look into this game a bit closer to the time on Saturday. We'll have a proper look into this team. I apologise for this podcast now. It is a bit thrown together because it's not what was planned tonight. Like I said, for those of you who joined us late, the plan was to have Kia on and Lorah on with me, but Laura's lost her phone and Kia's dealing with some personal stuff at the moment, so is unable to appear tonight. So, look, I do apologise if this podcast not up to the usual standards. I do apologise to you as well. Obviously, we haven't got the team on, but there is, a few other things going on with them at this moment in time. So, do apologise for that. So here we go. This is my team for the game. But like one of the things I want to put across though is I did want to go live tonight. I did want to get you involved. I didn't want to let you guys down. So here is my team. So my team for Sunday is Butland in goal, Tav, Suter, Balogun, Sterling, Lunny, Lawrence, Seema, Cantwell, and Matondo with Dessers up top. Absolutely, that's what I would go with. Stuart says Dessers was okay in the old firm, better than Silva. I would start way Dessers. Blue Horizon says same as Owen. I said though I see Dessers starting. Sadly, says Blue Horizon. Your pod is cool, Owen. Keep them coming. Thank you very much, Blue Horizon. So that's how I would start. That's the team I would put together for Sunday. I just think that we've got to kind of go strongest possible lineup, strongest possible team. Best players out there. Really push for it. Get them fit. I mean, for me as well, it's getting minutes into Seema, it's getting minutes into Matondo, making sure that they're ready to go in the semi-final. I mean, that's going to be a big game. Hearts will be bang up for it, absolutely massively up for that game. So for me, that's my team for Sunday. Obviously, we'll look at it in a bit more depth as we approach the game on Sunday. Well, guys, I'm going to call that a pod for tonight. It's only a short one tonight because, like I said, it is thrown together tonight because of the fact that this is not what I was intending to do tonight. Thank you to those people who've joined me, a smaller audience tonight. I do apologise again for the podcast tonight that we haven't had what we wanted to have tonight. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for what you've said. Thank you for everybody who has involved and has dropped comments in the live chat. As always, probably the team, you said, Owen, can't see Phil dropping Dessers. Jimmy Lothian says, I still think Dessers will do well. Remember, this is his first season at Gers. Possible, Jimmy, but you never know. I do think Rangers will go out and sign a striker in the summer, or strikers. Son says nicely cobbled together, and this is completely cobbled together tonight. I do apologize for that. Not our usual standards, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, guys, if you can do me 2 favors on the way out. Number 1, smash the like. Number 2, remember always, we are the people.